Hello, everyone. My name is KJ Whippy, and I'm joined today by ExpandWeed87 and TheMadLadBrad, and we're gonna be doing
I am
something.
ExpandWeed87.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait, I am Brad. I am Brad.
We're gonna be doing something a little different today than we normally do. We've decided that we're gonna start a podcast, because as if you didn't hate the sound of our voices enough, now there's more.
Here's some more.
So we are the Wombo Combo. I can't say that with a straight face. I can't say that with a straight face at all.
Here, I'll do it. We are the Wombo Combo, and basically today
We will wombo your combo.
No, wait, please. So you can't stare into the camera like that and say it like that, Brad.
I don't like that. I don't
We
like
are
that
the
at all.
Wombo Combo.
We are the Wombo Combo, and today we're going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. That's right, segue into what we're supposed to talk about. So today we're going to be talking
Five Nights at Freddy's? I never heard of it.
So, we're going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, and we're going to be going over three main things. Count them. 1, 2, 3. I hate myself.
You gotta keep it going. You're going off script.
So,
Remember the script!
God. Ah. So, first topic, we're just going to be going over, what Five Nights at Freddy's is, the basic story, the elements of gameplay, different things that are brought into it. Topic 2, we're going to be talking about our own personal opinions and experiences in FNaF and, things we wish were in the game, our favorite moments, just that kind of thing. And then our third topic, which I think will probably be our most important topic, will be everything going on with Scott Cawthon. Talk about his career for a little bit, maybe just go into like everything that's happening involving him right now, just to spread light on it for those who don't know about it, kind of just discuss it, see what's going on from both ends, so yeah, so it's gonna be a fun podcast. Hope you guys stick around, enjoy. So let's get started. So an overview of FNaF. Do either of you guys wanna do like a brief story explanation, or
maybe not a whole story? We can switch it off. Basically, I'll explain what the game is. For one, Five Nights at Freddy's was a horror game that basically revolutionized a lot of like horror games and like for the fans and whatnot. There was a lot of things that came about from it, but basically, I know like Five Nights at Freddy's 1, you were a security guard. You basically were trying to keep the robots, the animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, from going into your room using the little door switchy thingies. But
that's the scientific term for it, by the way, the door switchy thingies.
They're actually called the doohickeys.
Oh, sorry. I was talking about the European scientific name. That was the American.
Okay.
Yeah.
The door switchy do.
Wait, I thought it was the flip-flops.
We don't use those terms here, Brad.
Yeah, Brad, get out of here.
I'm sorry.
We don't use those terms here.
Brad, you're banned. You're canceled.
Sorry, don't cancel me.
But yeah, I mean, there had been so many other games that were created after the initial Five Nights at Freddy's 1, because I think Scott Cawthon might not have even. I think his. Let me see. Let's do a little bit of research here. Do you guys want to continue on while I do this real quick?
Yeah. So. Oh, go ahead, Brad. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
So. It's interesting when people throw around the word revolutionize, because I don't know if that's quite the right term to use for Five Nights at Freddy's, because when you revolutionize something, it's completely changing the foundation of it, like, forever. I think that's a good way of like explaining that terminology. And it's not as if Five Nights at Freddy's revolutionized horror in a way, because there isn't like a mainstream focus from like other horror games that are trying to copy it, but in a way it's sort of defined its own style of horror, if that makes sense.
Right.
A lot of horror games kind of revolved around this idea of you're in like a maze of sorts and you're being chased down by like a monster or like something that's coming after you and you need to try to get away from it. Whereas with Five Nights at Freddy's, you become trapped in a corner in a sense. where you're not running away from the monsters are coming straight for you, and you have very little defense for yourself.
Exactly.
So it creates this interesting dynamic, and it just worked. Everything about it worked. You know, the timing of when it came out, it was like a lot of like weird, like I don't want to say indie, but like it was like a lot of the stranger concepts for horror games. Like you had Slenderman was a popular thing at the time. You had Amnesia. It really was just like at the peak of like horror, especially when YouTube was around and like doing a lot of horror games. In just a way, FNaF was like the perfect storm, and it really just went on to define a lot of people's childhoods. I know all of us here, that's why we're here, because FNaF, we grew up with it. Our teenage years, I should say. Yeah. But Scott offered an interview for whoever beat Ultimate Custom Night, and I just wanted it. No.
You know, just. But yeah, I mean, and it's crazy, you know, we all grew up with this thing, but it almost didn't even happen. I mean, Scott Cawthon, I had just researched here, because I think I had learned it a while back, but I forgot. But basically, I mean, he was getting heavily criticized by prominent reviewers for a lot of his other indie games he was making in the past. Like, it was just crazy, and he got discouraged so much to the point he almost stopped game development. But then he came up with the idea to use animatronic-like characters, and he basically brought about FNaF. And I don't even think he was going into Five Nights at Freddy's thinking it was going to get so popular as it did.
Well, especially because he had been so discouraged from before. Like his the games that had come out right before FNaF, Sit and Survive, Chipper and Sons Lumber Company, and The Desolate Hope. Only 1 out of 3 of those were like well reviewed by fans and stuff. Like people were really just underwhelmed, I think is the right word, with the Sit and Survive and Chipper and Sons. But yeah, people were talking about how like in Chipper, they looked like animatronics, and so it was like freaky to people. It's like it's not supposed to be freaky, but it's kind of freaky. So then he's like, I could use this to my advantage. But yeah, I don't think he was expecting as much of a fan base or just an uprising among the game world as he got.
Yeah, I think I remember at some point I heard him like speak about, you know, FNaF was going to be like his last game. Like it was his last hurrah. It was just like one final attempt to like get something to happen, and sure enough, it blew up. And not only did it blow up as, you know, this revolutionary horror game, but it blew up as this convoluted mess of a lore. And it was fun to try to figure out, but my God, was there was just so much.
I think that's one of the coolest things about Five Nights at Freddy's, though, is you don't know the whole story.
Exactly.
You don't know exactly what's going on at every point in time. It's like every time there's a new game or a new book or something, even code in his website, just giving you a little bit more of that story and like kind of piecing some things together. Like it's so convoluted and unnecessary, but I love it.
Right? It's like it's basically it's a horror game, right? But it tells a deep story without directly just telling the viewer, you know? It's left for interpretation, you know?
Yeah.
It was always a case where, you know, you would get one question answered, but then you would have 3 more afterwards. And It was like, you know, what everyone was introduced to FNaF as a horror game. So, you know, a lot of the initial fans were fans because it was a horror game, but, you know, the loyal fans were the people that were trying to figure out, okay, what's the story here?
Who is the man behind the slaughter?
we got people like Matt Pat doing all these, you know, crazy
Pat
theories.
Why did you emphasize it
Yeah,
like
that? Why did you emphasize
Pat?
Matt Pat.
But no, I mean, like, yeah, he had done, you know, like crazy theories for the whole thing. A lot of theories that even a lot of people had like believed, you know, and yeah, believed that it was canon, you know. I think right now, currently, aren't all his theories kind of what the lore is kind of canonically believed as?
That's a tricky question.
See, because a lot of it has been confirmed by Scott.
I don't know about a lot. I don't know how much he's actually gone on and confirmed. I know that he confirmed the FNaF 2 theory. Like, every single detail that Matt specified about that game, like it being a prequel, all that was confirmed.
Yeah.
That's, like, the only time I can ever remember Scott being like, yeah, game theory, like, got the nail on the head. He's gone on to confirm certain details that game theory predicted in the past, but never has he outright been like, this.
Yeah, he hasn't, like, directly confirmed it, but, like,
yeah,
indirectly, he's definitely a lot of times been like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, MatPat made 44 FNaF theories.
That's crazy.
40
any other game than he's ever done. More than Mario, more than
That's just insane, because, like, there's, well, I mean, it makes sense, though, because, like, there's so much to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you can't cover it all in one video. Like, if we were to sit here and just tell you the entire story of Five Nights at Freddy's, we'd be here for, like, 7 more hours.
Yeah,
right. And you don't want to be here for 7 hours.
You don't want to be here for 5 minutes. Like,
I mean, we would love to be here for 7 hours talking about FNaF, but no one else wants to hear us talk about FNaF for that long.
Exactly.
So we're just summarizing, kind of getting to small points.
I will throw out this question, though, about the lore, because there's a lot of questions as to where the series is going to go from here. And I really have a hard time believing that it's going to continue on in the way that Scott intended it to. So in a lot of ways, this is the end of FNaF. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, are you guys disappointed in any way? Because the hunt has always been to figure out the story behind FNaF. We're left with so many questions still.
Yeah, I am a little disappointed that it's kind of come to this. We've kind of jumped topics, but like,
we brought up the lore.
Yeah.
We're not going to get since we don't want to get into too many details. Like, it's just a question that I've heard. And I think it's worth addressing.
I think it's disappointing to see that this is kind of where the mainstream of the Cawthon era of FNaF is kind of coming to an end.
Yeah.
So we can't really be sure where the story is going to go from here, if it's going to be accurate as to, like, everything else that's happened already in the series, or if they're just going to kind of segue into something else.
Yeah.
But I personally, I really hope with Security Breach we get some kind of closure.
Yeah.
Just
if not the end of the series, you know.
Well, I hope not the end of the series, because, I mean, the games are always fun. It's always interesting.
What was that?
What was that?
Phasmophobia isn't supposed to be happening yet.
Okay.
Your lights just start flickering.
Anyway.
No.
Before I die, I just want to finish my sentence. But, you know, like, it's always interesting to see what new game mechanics they throw in to the different games. Like, from FNaF 1 to 4, you were always just kind of sitting in one spot. I mean, kind of, in FNaF 4, you would, like, go from door to door to, like, your closet. You were kind of moving around, but you were still in, like, the one room. Sister Location introduced going to different areas of the entire place.
But you were still in one facility.
You were still in one facility, but you were going to, like, different rooms.
Yeah.
You'd be crawling through vents. You'd be pitter-pattering through Balora's Jingle Bell room. You know, it's like every game has new mechanics, and it switches it up every time. You know, it's like, it's just, even if it's slight, there's just always something new. And, like, I really want to see them just come up with new things more and more and more, you know?
And I think one of the biggest examples of just, like, the whole game, the way you play the game, like, I think 1 through 4 definitely show that, like, diversity of game mechanics. Because 1 goes from, like, oh, you have to keep them out with your door. You can also use the lights to see them in your hallway. To 2 being to where you don't have doors at all. You know, you have to. The only way to protect yourself is literally a mask and a flashlight. And then 3 being no mask, not even a flashlight, right?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
It's
no,
just
yeah,
camera.
You're right. You're right.
The only thing that protects you is
Audio
the
cues.
sound of Balloon Boy,
Mhm.
yeah. And then you've also got other things trying to kill you, like the ventilation. Yeah, I had a stroke. The ventilation system, the audio system, the video system going out, all
Right.
that stuff. And then 4 was literally having to hear the sound of the animatronics breathing for part of it.
I hate that.
Yeah, and then right, or like having to use your flashlight to get rid of the little baby Freddy things that are just having a seizure on your bed.
You know,
Oh, and then there's
me too, though.
yeah, and then there's the part with like Foxy. You have to like close your closet to keep Foxy from coming out,
Right.
and then it's just it was different mechanics each time, and it's pretty cool. Good example.
Another way that the series evolved over time. You had the first 4 series of game, or you had the first 4 games in the series, and they kind of were like the like trying to be like the horror staple that it was known for. But by the time Sister Location around, Scott kind of gave himself a break in between, because like those games were just coming out like factory work.
And they
He
would
was
always
really
come out
just-
early too. Like I don't think any
Yeah.
of them originally came out like on their original release date. It was always early.
Scott wanted to release like FNaF 4 on Halloween, and then it got pushed forward to like late August.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like
like
yeah.
when he made that announcement that it was going to be late August, he released it early August. So it was like he really oversaturated the series, and he gave himself a break there when Sister Location came out. So not only did the series evolve like mechanics wise, but meme wise, like Scott became so self-aware of the fact that he's got like a whole bunch of meme lords in his community.
Exotic
so many-
butters.
You had exotic butters, you had the
Casual.
the mediocre
bongos.
melodies, casual bongos, you had like number one crate, the jar of pickles. Like there was just so many jokes in the series, and like it became so self-aware, and it was honestly so much more fun to
My
stick around.
my favorite of all of them, when you're playing Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator and you're playing the mini games, and then you like have Helpy jump and he lands and he just snaps his
And he
spine.
snaps his neck. Yeah, like
yeah,
it became
forgot
so
about
funny. But it became funny, but it didn't betray any of like the serious moments that it got into, like the lore bits that you were given,
Right.
or any of the horror bits. And like just seeing it like go from FNAF 1 to like taking itself so seriously to like Ultimate Custom Night being lighthearted but still like addressing these serious points, like it's a really fascinating thing to look at.
And like even in FNAF 1, like there was still like a funny thing where it was like you honk the nose, Like there's always like these little things or whatever that he throws in every game. Even though it's a horror game, you still have these fun aspects to it. There's the honk.
Right.
I think like every one of the games, I think there's somewhere you can get the little honky sound.
Right. I mean, 1 was literally the Freddy poster. 2, I'm trying to remember what.
2 didn't it
might-
have a bobblehead on the desk?
I think so. I think it had a bobblehead.
Because I
and
know
then
I don't remember that.
I know in 3 there was the bobblehead on the desk.
No, in 3 it was when
Another
you could turn your
poster, right?
camera to see the doorway. There was the Freddy. Yeah, there was
that's
the Golden
right.
Freddy. Yeah,
That's right.
and then in 4 it was the plush that was on the bed.
yeah.
4 was the plush on the bed. Sister Location in the secret room where you're trying to defend yourself from Ennard on the 5th night. Where there's the little Fredbear plush. Don't even go there, Brad.
Were you not able to honk Ennard's nose? Because like you could see his mask.
Oh yeah,
hanging
you
up
can
on the
honk his
wall.
nose too. That's right. And like all the little dudes would like make little sounds too.
Mhm. Yeah.
There were those. There, FNAF 6, Helpy, you could boop his nose when you're at night and you're like doing all your closing stuff. You could honk his nose.
Yeah.
And then Ultimate Custom Night, there's all the different rooms or whatever with something to interact with in there every time. So it's just
Right.
there's fun little Easter eggs and stuff that you can find in there. So that's a really good point.
As much as I like don't want to, or as much as we don't want to get into the lore, I think that with like over time, he did realize like the questions that he kept bringing up throughout the series, because like 1 through 4, it's still kind of like up in the air to this day. Like, is it dream theory? Is it not a dream theory? Like, is it all even real? Whereas when you got to that end point, you know, from like Sister Location to Ultimate Custom Night, it was clear that like this is the story that he's trying to tell. He's trying to tell the story of Michael Afton,
Right.
going after his father, trying to stop all the evil that he's done, and like because of that focus, I think you got a lot better story moments in those games, in my personal opinion. Like, you know, FNAF 3 you had like the happiest day, FNAF 4 you had the bite of 83. Those were really good story moments, but like in Sister Location, like you got getting scooped and you know, Michael Afton resurrecting, you know, Father, I'm gonna come find you. FNAF 6 you had Henry's monologue, which is quite possibly the coolest thing to come from this entire series.
The
It's
fact
so
that
cool.
the coolest speech I think I've ever heard from a video game. I think that is one of the coolest speeches I've ever heard.
It's definitely top
from a
3,
video
top
game.
5.
It came
so
from a Five
good.
Nights at Freddy's game. Like, no one would think that. Which, I'm not
Right.
trying to say anything bad about the game series, but, like, you wouldn't expect something of that just intensity of a monologue.
And emotion, because when he's talking to his daughter, like when he says, "I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now."
yeah,
Every time it chokes me up.
it's
It
just,
chokes me up every time. And it's so weird because you hear him every night when you do the like the scrap, like
Yeah.
scrapping the old animatronics. So like the entire time you have no idea who he is. He's just this tape guy, and he's super creepy. You don't like his voice at all.
I like his
Just
voice.
for it to come. Well, like when you're like in the room, like his voice just adds to the tension of the moment. You're just like,
I'm gonna die.
okay.
Don't wake it up! Don't wake it up! Don't wake it up! You know.
And then you know in FNAF 7 you had you know, Golden Freddy, like that when you get to 4,800 score, 48,000. I don't remember what the highest score is in Ultimate Custom Night, but you get like Golden Freddy like shaking off into the distance, fading into black. You also had
There's all the voice
just a lot of the
lines.
Easter eggs that you had.
There's
It was really
Okay. Well, you know what? While Brad's kind of doing his little intermission there, we can go back to the whole part about like some of Scott's previous games. I mean, I've played Sit and Survive actually. I used to play. I have played it on my phone, and it's basically this really pixelated kind of retro style game where you're sitting in one spot and you're supposed to survive the outside elements while being like kind of camping, I guess. You have things like bug nets to prevent the mosquitoes from taking away your health.
okay. Yeah. I've seen like the gameplay for it.
you've got
I've
the
never
bug
seen any
zapper.
gameplay of it. I just know that it exists.
Yeah. And I mean, it was pretty fun to play as like a kid. Like, you know, I'd be coming home from my swim practices during the summer, and I would just play Sit and Survive, and I was like, you know, this is pretty fun, you know, until it ended up getting so hard to the point that my little tiny brain couldn't like do it very well. But I
Still
mean,
tiny, by the way.
it's still tiny, but it's tiny but proportional with my size.
It's grown, but not much.
It's
Right.
normal.
So-
It's normal size to an average human, but because it's in your body, it's small.
There's a reason you're the muscle of the group.
Me, big, strong. Oh my! I just punched my ring. Oops.
And there's the no brain.
The no brain.
All right, but yeah. Anyway,
So what were you saying about his older games? Because I kind
Oh.
of have like a point to like bring up about it if you're gonna continue on about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I also shoot. What was the other game? Let's see.
Chipper and Sons Lumber Company.
No, it wasn't that one. I think
The Desolate Hope.
it was a
Part.
running game. It was like a parkour type game.
Pilgrim's
um,
Progress.
I thought of Quap, and I was just like, nope,
That's
not the right
not
person.
Scott Cawthon.
Not the right person.
No, it was. There is no pause button. It was a game on Here, let me see if I can share my screen, if that would be beneficial for us.
Just
Oh
Basically,
god.
Oh god.
it was a game where it was on the phone, I believe, or it was an app.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like a geometry dash type game.
Wait. I know what the name of this is. Shoot. Is it
Yeah, Julian, go to that
RPG
go to that
Max?
second image.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
that's the
Oh,
Yeah.
that
I
didn't
think that-
survive.
Yeah, I think there's some reference to it in one of the FNaF games.
That's a very familiar style.
FNaF World. I think it's in FNaF World.
Ah, okay.
FNaF World is a whole topic.
I wish
by
it was
itself.
still. I wish it was still up.
Oh,
It
this
should have
hurts.
been.
Oh man.
This
No, hold on. No, we're not
not
talking
there yet.
about this
We're
yet.
not there
We're
yet.
not talking about this yet.
We're not there yet. We're not
No,
there
I'm
yet.
not ready to get emotional. But if you look at a lot of these
Ugh.
games, like the earlier Scott Cawthon games, you can still see his like style in each of the games.
He had
You know
a
what I mean?
definite style.
He had a very unique style about him. And I just want to go ahead and finish up my FNAF 7 thing that I was talking about. I got cut off there, but like, you know, you
Okay.
had like all these little Easter eggs that like covered like different little lore bits. You had Old Man Consequences, which was a nice little Easter egg for everyone that remembered FNAF 4. Or FNAF World, I'm sorry. It was just a really cool way to see all these little, like, Scott focused more on the story that he was trying to tell with the Afton family, but still recognizing the past works because they were still very important to getting him to that point in the series.
And I really think it's interesting to see like you're saying, like how he got so much more involved with the lore for the last games, like, and you see a lot more of like what happens to William Afton, because like Ultimate Custom Night is just his own personal hell. Like he's just stuck in purgatory, and like all these different animatronics have like different voice lines and stuff. If you've never played it, it's free on Steam. Go play it. It's hard. It's so hard, but it's fun. And there's different voice lines for different animatronics, and there's a few that mention the one you should not have killed. So it's like he's being held here in this eternal hell by the kid who's possessed Golden Freddy. What? Who? What? Yeah, it's like it's so weird, and like,
Yeah, just getting into any little detail, you'll go on to like 7 other details about the series. So like, I think it's just like a nice way to like wrap it up there. That one of the spirits possessing Golden Freddy was just tormenting William Afton. And
yeah.
it was just, there's so much.
Yeah, and by the way, Brad, what did you want to say about some of his older games?
I just wanted to say that he definitely had a unique style.
Oh,
to-
okay, that
yeah.
was the thing. Okay, just making
Yeah,
sure.
Ha, you're the ignored one now.
God, it's crazy. I mean, his net worth right now is like 60 million. Scott Cawthon. Wow.
60 million.
Five Nights at Freddy's really did like.
It changed his life. I mean,
He was going from like so far what seemed like a failing indie game creator to a sudden just like probably one of the most impressive indie game creators in the whole, at least horror.
The
market,
most.
You know.
And I
It's just
guess it kind of deterred from being an indie game developer near the end there because he handed off the series to different people to work on.
I'm trying to remember the name of the one group that worked on Help Wanted.
Steel Wool?
Steel Wool. That's what it was.
yeah.
So,
Well, yeah,
and I think he has a publisher for the books.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely
I
sure.
don't-
I actually have a book here. Let me. You can say whatever you can say whatever you're saying, Julian. But I want to check like what.
Right. I mean, typically, doesn't every like book author have a publisher?
Yeah, but it's like, he's not doing it himself.
Yeah, he's not doing it
He's
himself.
he's doing it with the help of someone else.
He has other authors. So like for Blackbird, he has 2 other authors. I think each story, like he has one that he does, and then the other 2 are done by other people,
Makes sense.
or something along those lines. But
And you can tell that the Five Nights at Freddy's VR was definitely like helped developed by other people, because like.
Yeah.
I know with Scott Cawthon's style, it's never been about smooth animation and whatnot. It's never been about showing like how they're crawling up to you or walking to you, like how the VR one did.
God. Not to have the shameless self-promotion in here, but if you haven't watched me play Five Nights at Freddy's VR, please go watch it and see how terrifying that game is.
Yeah.
Because you see them walk past the doors, like as you're
hold on.
standing there.
I think this is a good segue to further talk about the other producers. Like Scott straying away from being an indie developer, just working on the series by himself. He's able to hand off his creative property to other people. He gives the creative input, and people are able to use the tools that they have at their disposal to like bring them to life.
Right.
Which led to Help Wanted being the scariest FNAF game since FNAF 1, probably the scariest FNAF game, and in my opinion, the best FNAF game. Just because they had tools that he didn't have access to. And with the books, he has writing capabilities that he himself is not fully capable of. So, in an ironic twist, he didn't really sell out the series because he kept the full creative property of it, but he was able to get help from various different things, and it led to, honestly, the biggest boom of FNAF, I think is a fair statement to make.
So,
and like, the best product of FNAF to come out. Anyways.
You said something about selling out that reminded me. Do you guys remember a little while back when there were like 5 FNAF fan game developers that Scott was funding?
Oh yeah.
What's gonna happen with that?
Okay, Scott doesn't lose any of his funding though. Like he has all the money that he's made.
That's true.
He can still help fund them.
That's true.
And he still owns FNAF. He didn't get rid of like his.
Yeah, he's just retiring from making more.
Yeah.
Okay. So but like that, I didn't think about it. I was like, wait, so is he gonna still fund and help out with these ones? Maybe?
I think when we get to the controversy surrounding Scott, we can just talk about like his contribution to the community as well, because that's definitely important.
Are those same fan developers still making games, or because I know you said there was 5 in particular?
Yeah, so I know definitely for one of them, they're making like a reboot of the first FNAF, and it's so much scarier. Like from the trailers I've seen, oh my god, it's gonna suck to play, but it's gonna be so fun to play.
It's gonna be terrifying.
It looks so good, but I can't remember the name of it right now.
FNAF Plus.
FNAF Plus. Yes, it looks so great.
There's gonna be a Five Nights at Candy's 4, I think. That was one of them.
I forgot Five Nights at Candy's is one of them.
Did he get funding to Final Nights?
I don't think so.
I know Flumpty. I know he gave.
Yeah, we're getting a third Flumpty.
So okay, so basically, kind of the more popular fan game makers.
Candies,
Flumpties. I think the person who made The Joy of Creation was the one who made Candies, right?
Yeah.
Here, let me see. It's on this one page.
I know Joy of Creation, or one of those games similar to it is.
Because I mean, The Joy of Creation was really good. I mean, I have yet to play the story mode, but I mean, I've played Reborn. I've played the Halloween edition. It's terrifying.
I don't have the physical capability to have myself play that. At least the regular version, like the story mode, I could probably play, but like.
Reborn.
I'm just wandering around a house trying not to get caught, and like, if you watched me play Outlast, I could not at all like move around somewhere without being like super hesitant. Like I would hesitate all the time.
There are a lot of actually, now that you say that, there's a lot of times where you do end up hiding in a room that you know is safe. And, like,
I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill back here. Y'all have fun.
Right. And then, like, suddenly you're playing The Joy of Creation, and it's like you hear Freddy's like giant metal footsteps getting closer and closer, and you're like, nope, this room's safe. The room's safe.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't end up being because he turns around with his bright eyes.
See, it's one of those things where I kind of have a hard time playing a lot of the fan FNAF games just because I know it's not FNAF, you know?
Yeah.
But I can't help but not recognize like the work and the effort and like the high quality that some of these game developers put into it.
And
so I watch people play it, you know?
For a lot of them, the opposite, you know?
Yeah, some more cheap cash grabs like Five Nights at Wario's and like...
Okay, but Five Nights at Wario's, that's kind of funny. Like, come on. Like...
Yeah, that's what it is.
McDonald's.
Like, it's a funny goof on the FNAF series, and like you also had like Five Nights at the Chum Bucket, which was...
There was one place.
I forgot about the Chum Bucket.
Yeah, I mean the one that was based in McDonald's was also kind of funny. Like it had,
yeah.
I never watched that one. I was just like, no.
The late night McDonald's with like the moon guy with the glasses and whatnot.
What was the Mickey one?
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island. Ooh, that one was genuinely creepy.
That was fun.
There was like Mickey, and then there was like inverted Mickey, where he was like inverted colors.
Looks like the person who made Five Nights at Candy's is not the same who did The Joy of Creation.
Yeah, I didn't think so because they were definitely two distinct art styles. But like,
Yeah.
I could have seen it.
Nixon
There was Pop Goes.
Pop Goes. Yeah. That was another one.
There's actually a pretty cool one, or cool looking one here. Apparently, it's a whole series, Final Nights or whatnot.
Yeah,
That's
where the one Markiplier like quote comes from. What is it?
Although we're all relating it back to Markiplier.
Right. No,
the
because
king of
it's
FNaF.
like, it's like I'm trying to help jog his memory.
Yeah.
At all, but I don't remember what the quote is now.
I mean,
Wait, yeah, I know what you're talking. It's the one with the puppet with the puppets on his hand.
Yeah, he's like in the window and he's like, what is it? What is the freaking video? Oh man,
I don't remember, but I know he walked into the
quote it
Steam.
all the time.
He walked into the Steam and he's like, freaking Steam!
I mean, yeah, we've got One Night at Flumpty's, we've got Five Nights at Candy's, we've got Final Nights, The Joy of Creation, those nights at Rachel's.
Day Shift at Freddy's.
Oh, shoot, I don't think I've ever heard of that one before.
Five Nights at Fuckboys.
Wait,
that's a trip and a half.
Oh man,
we're getting completely sidetracked.
I know
from,
this is such a segue, but I mean it's totally worth it. I love it.
But it just goes to show that, you know, FNaF like generally didn't it didn't redefine any like mainstream like horror genre, or mainstream like horror like games, but it created its own genre.
I was gonna say, yeah, it made its own. It just kind of like, oh, so there's this whole area of horror here. I'm gonna go over here.
And, you know, we've got things like, you know, Amnesia that created like a big portion of like horror games. We've got some other like funny little horror multiplayer games like Blackout Club, Phasmophobia. What was the other one? The one with like the rat creature your friends can play as. Not No Sleep. What am I thinking?
In Silence?
In Silence, yeah, In Silence. And then we've also got Dead by Daylight, those types of little horror multiplayer games.
There's
And
They've
none
got
of those
their own
copying
genres.
FNaF.
Yeah, I know. They've got their own like genres, but then FNaF, you know, created its own. So
I'm curious to see, like, Julian, I remember the other day you were talking about like, what if there was like a multiplayer FNaF?
right.
How do you think that would work? How do you think that would like?
Do you remember Five Nights at Bonnie's?
No.
It's Bonnie Simulator. That's what it's called. It's Bonnie Simulator.
Oh.
I would imagine it's something like that.
Okay, so like a few of you would play as like the animatronics.
Mhm.
Okay, I feel like that'd be really overpowered if you're an animatronic though.
Well, I
Maybe.
feel like you would have cooldowns between when you can switch between cameras
Probably.
and attack and whatnot. Yeah.
Probably.
Or like, you know, maybe like a co-op like PvE type thing, you know? Like I know, like let's say like FNaF 1, there's a Gmod map, right? And you can invite your friends onto it and you guys can just go around being stupid, have fun and whatnot, and get like genuinely like serious about the game if you wanted to.
True.
So like
That's another thing we didn't bring up about the FNaF games, is that there was genuine strategy that had to go into a lot of the games because you had very limited resources with how you could keep the animatronics out. And that led to Scott creating custom nights where you can, you know, upgrade the difficulty of the animatronics, and it led to a lot of people trying to beat them at the highest difficulty. And it even led to a whole game where it was nothing but customizing those animatronics and trying to survive 50 of them at the same time.
Which to whoever has completed that,
So
whoever has completed 50-20
Dawko.
mode,
Dawko.
Dawko, how? how do you have the brain capacity to do this?
right? Like with FNaF 1 even, like for me the brain capacity is just not there to barely even finish 2020 mode or 420 mode.
See, I think like in the lead up to Scott retiring, I think that was the most fun to be a FNaF fan as like someone who's like exploring the lore. But as someone who watches FNaF videos, I think Ultimate Custom Night was the most fun because you had all of like the Chica like cutscenes and the Freddy and Foxy cutscenes. But even just like trying to watch people like progress through Ultimate Custom Night was so much fun to watch.
Watching
was
people
so fun.
watching people grow throughout the game, you know.
Mhm.
Just, learning
Right.
new techniques, learning different strategies, figuring out, oh, this does that. When I started playing Ultimate Custom Night when I first got it, I didn't realize that you use the keyboard for like 90% of the stuff. I still don't remember what they all do, like all the buttons do, but like
Why do you need
so
to
many
move
things.
your mouse in Ultimate Custom Night? It's really just to move the cleaning sign.
Yeah,
for,
the wet floor sign, and if you're in the cameras,
yeah.
clicking the coins or buying the plushies or
Crazy.
Oh God, imagine
is
having
crazy.
to account for 50 different animatronics.
Yeah, I noticed that, but I didn't want to say anything. I got all this up here, dude. Don't worry about it.
I'm just like,
But I think talking about watching people grow is a good way to segue into like the impact that FNAF had on not just us but like people in general, because I brought it up in my FNAF 1 video, which you should go watch right now. Go
watch it. Go on,
Funny.
scoot.
But I talked about like Markiplier played all of the FNAF games except FNAF World. Jacksepticeye, I'm pretty sure played them. PewDiePie played them. Like everyone played FNAF, and
It
when
was a national phenomenon.
it really was, and there was a select few people that stuck along with the series, and like you could see like from point A to point B like how their channel grew because of it, especially Markiplier, known as the king of FNAF, and getting millions of views for those FNAF videos. And it was just such an interesting experience because we as a community, the FNAF community, like grew together and spent so much time trying to solve the lore together. And I know for all of us in this room, our entire teenage lives was like defined definitively because of FNAF. Like I don't think my teenage life would have been the same without FNAF.
Can I just point out though how Markiplier's I think first episode for FNAF 1 was like his most watched video on his channel until like his little meow skit video
Yeah,
had taken over.
like let's look to see how many views it
YouTube
currently has right
algorithm
now.
had to self-inject Meow to get FNAF away
Just
from
to get FNAF
you.
out. Alright, let's go see Mr. Marky Moo. Mark's best videos. Well, his best videos, according to himself, is his Five Nights at Freddy's 4 reaction compilation.
Which, fair enough.
His most popular FNAF video, it's his third popular video. It's his third most popular video. 92 million views. Beat only by Meow and Woof.
Wolf overtook it?
Woof's at 122 million.
Is Moo fourth?
Moo is fifth.
What's fourth?
Five Nights at Freddy's animated. Also, Julian, your camera's gone.
Yeah. He, his mummy walked in, I believe.
Oh, mama. But that's insane. 200,
Yeah,
288 million views on a video of him putting his mouth over cats.
but it really goes to show just like the impact that the series had. And look at Game Theory. Game Theory, I'm sure that it would be like big, but it would not have gotten as big as quickly as it did if it weren't for FNAF.
Yeah.
And it's easily its most popular series.
And like all of his other popular videos on here, FNAF 2, Sister Location Part 1, was that Golden Freddy, FNAF 1 Part like 4 or something like that. His FNAF 4 reaction compilation, he's got so...
Sorry, gentlemen.
Welcome back.
Me madre.
But yeah, he has so many most popular videos are FNAF. What's with the look?
I don't even know. I wasn't able to hear
I
what you
clicked
guys
on
said.
Game Theory's channel, and one of his videos started playing, and I was just like,
What's going on? But
I want to look at MatPat, because I seriously believe that if I sort this by most popular, wow, his most popular isn't FNAF, but by a long shot. That's crazy. Oh, because it was Game Lab.
No,
his
see,
first-
if we look on
his first
Brad's
game-
channel, one of his most popular videos.
Shut up!
No,
Shut up!
Well, if we
Other-
look at Julian's channel, one of his most popular videos.
But no,
God,
like,
I unlisted my most popular.
Oh,
but no,
it
like
was the State
82
of Decay
million
one.
for his first Game Lab video, but then after that, FNAF 4, the what we missed, the first FNAF video, the full story, FNAF 2 video, Dream Theory, the live Ultimate Custom Night, FNAF 3, FNAF 4. It's like
I remember the live stream that they had when they were
Scott-
playing the Space one. Like,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was,
yeah,
it
the
was like
charity-
Rockstars
charity
in
live-
Space, and it was the charity live stream for like St. Jude's or something. And like
Mhm.
they had Mark and Dawko just like in the back of the room trying to beat the game while they were still talking about charity stuff. So they're just like,
God.
so good.
but it's anyway, like with FNAF, like it's impacted so many people's lives. Like I know that Mark would still be very popular today, but I honestly don't think he would be as popular as he is today if he didn't play Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right. It was. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I feel like we should probably do this, but there is a link to all of the channels that we mention down in the description. Go check them out. All great content creators, all amazing videos. Go check them out. And since we're talking about it, Brad and Julian are linked as well. So go give them some love. Yeah. I'm terrible at the promotion stuff, but I figure since we're not
Holy crap! I just
You
counted how
forgot to
many
mention
games-
today's sponsor, Kyle.
well, I was gonna say, since we're not sponsored, today's sponsor is
His
Mad
baby
Lad
Yoda.
Brad and his
It's-
little
no, it's
baby girl goo. You corrected me on this.
My little group. He's gonna be right here. He's gonna be right here for this.
Oh my
He's here for
god,
this.
dude! Like, Scott Cawthon made 29 games in 2014.
Yeah. He made so many.
That's a little more. That's a little more than 2 games a month.
Wait, what are
That's-
the other games?
That's almost 3 games a month.
Basically, let's do it. Forever Quester, Snap a Game, Classic RPG, Jumbo Slots Collection,
Those were all 2014?
Pimp My Dungeon, There's No Pause Button, Slumberfish, Fighter Mage Bard, Use Holy Water, Rage Quit, 20 Useless Apps, Cropple, Spooky Scan, Vegas Fantasy Slots, Pogo Duck, Scott's Fantasy Slots, VIP Woodland Casino, Hawaiian Jackpots, 8-Bit RPG Creator, Bible Story Slots, Magnum Slots Collection, Gemza, Fart Hotel,
What?
Cubby Hurdles, Shell Shatter, Kitty in the Crowd, Dark Prisms, Sit and Survive, and Five Nights at Freddy's, and then Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was 2014 as well?
Yeah, right?
Yes.
You feel old, right?
Hold on. I thought FNAF 3 was 2014 as well.
2015. It was probably early 2015.
Because I know.
That was
Yeah,
all
Kyle.
2014?
Kyle, the first 4 games came out in the span of a year.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, it was that long ago?
Mm-hmm. It was only a few
What?
months after FNAF 1. So yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, I guess FNAF 3 would have been 2015.
So not only did he create 2 amazing games within, like, 2 months time of each other.
Also made 27 other games.
He made 27 other games, but he, like, in FNAF, 2 months-ish between game releases, he came up with the convoluted story in between in 2 months. How do you do that?
Right? It really makes me, like, put to shame with how, like, much he was able to manage his time.
But
Like,
you got to think about it at the same time. All those games until FNAF were flops.
that's
it really
fair.
goes to show
Except
that
for the Desolate Hope.
Quality
The Desolate
over
Hope went
quantity.
through, but that was, what, 2013, I
still.
think? Yeah,
it's quality over quantity.
that is true.
Sit and
but
Survive
still-
wasn't also bad either. I liked Sit and Survive.
It's
And
just,
um
what the heck?
and There Is No Pause Button. That one was fun too. But yeah, I mean, it's like he made tons. I mean, it looks like he made a lot of casino and like slot games. Like he made a lot of gambling games as well.
This is crazy, man.
It's really astonishing that within that first year, like a lot more of us didn't like tune out of the series as we did. Like for whatever reason, I honestly give a lot of credit to Game Theory, like trying to put together the lore. Because if I didn't like care enough about the lore, I think I would have completely not cared about FNaF at all. Because four games within 1 year is a lot.
I remember my freshman year of high school. I watched so much Game Theory on FNaF. I was like starting to write my own theories. I was over here like, whoa, this is sick, bro. I never put 2 and 2 together. Whoa. And like, I had never played a Five Nights at Freddy's game. I still have only played like Help Wanted. I've played Ultimate Custom Night. I've started playing Pizzeria Simulator. I haven't played any of the original games. I've never played.
I played all 4 on the phone. I never.
Me too.
I never really had an actual computer to really play the game. Plus, I think it was cheaper on the phone. I could be wrong about that, but
Tell anyone, but I'm playing all of my FNaF. I'm playing FNaF 1 through 4 on the console, so.
But like, it's just like being able to like piece everything together and having the help of Game Theory. Like you're watching Game Theory put these 2 things that you never would expect to be related. You watch them put it together, and it makes sense, and you never think about it until they do it.
Right.
Like I agree with you, Brad. I don't think I would have been as invested in this if Game Theory wasn't doing theories on it.
Oh God. I mean,
because there's like too many like minute details to like discover for yourself a lot of the times, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it just goes to show like how much effort Scott was putting into these games. And I know I've already said it, but like it's been we're going on 7 years now with FNaF.
Jeez.
And every single year it's been in the forefront of my mind. I was just like, when's the next FNaF release coming out? When's the next Game Theory coming out? What new stuff are we going to learn about the lore? And then in the recent years, when's the new book coming out? Like,
when's the movie coming out?
When's the new teaser going to be? When's the movie coming out? Never. But
I remember like Markiplier.
It's just a joke.
But like Mark had said he was gonna be going somewhere to film something or whatnot, or like.
I remember this conversation.
And then like in every horror game he played, there were some even non-horror games, but like he put in the YouTube game section that he was playing FNaF, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and a lot of people were seeing that as, YouTube is recognizing this game as FNaF. No, you don't. It doesn't recognize anything. You have to physically input what game you're playing when uploading a video. And it's like, so he was putting in there that he was playing FNaF 1. And so we were all making theories like,
Brad, your face.
I don't want
to
to burst your bubble, but I did not upload that, or I did not put that I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's in my video, and it recognized that I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
That might be a newer thing. I know you can manually upload it, but I did not put in Five Nights at Freddy's, and it recognized it.
Okay, that's something I didn't know.
But if it's for every video, then that doesn't make any sense. So
yeah, no, it was for every video. Like Julian was saying, like every video for a solid while, it was just saying Five Nights at Freddy's. Like he was playing at Dark of Night or whatever.
Yeah.
The hotel.
That
Five
great
Nights
game,
at
by the
Freddy's.
way.
Awesome game. Love the game.
Awesome.
I honestly want to play it for myself, but I'm trying to wait to play it so I can forget how to play it in the story, right? Because I watched the entire series and it's like I know how everything happened, so it wouldn't be a surprise to me.
I mean, you probably still get surprised if you get caught.
Right, get hit with a baseball bat. I'm like, whoa, but
oh dear, whatever shall I do?
Right, but like
looks like I'm knocked out again. Time to go into a random hotel room.
Right, but knowing how the deaths of all the the ghost characters or whatnot you hear about, it's just like, if I had played it for the first time, seeing the one girl fall from the top of the stairwell, I would have been like,
"Hey, spoilers! Spoilers! Cut the video! Cut it!"
And that's another interesting thing, because we talk about all the theories and whatnot. FNaF was able to get you to care about a lot of little things. like we drove ourselves crazy over people's names in FNaF. Like Will Trap versus Mike Trap, trying to figure out Golden Freddy's name, trying to pinpoint like the missing children, their names, like
Fitzgerald.
like how does a series get you to care about people's names?
Right.
Like that's an astonishing feat. We would count animatronic feet, so no pun intended, but regardless, like there were so many minute details that like because we knew that every detail mattered, like Scott doesn't do coincidences, we would pay attention to every single detail
Exactly.
that he put in these games. It got us to care about them.
And like every single thing is significant, like you're saying, and I'm having a stroke trying to figure out what I'm saying. Like there's 3 different characters named Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 different characters named Jeremy. There's the one on the gravestone in that one cutscene. Yeah, one of the missing kids. There's Jeremy Fitzgerald, who you play as in FNaF 2, who ends up getting bit in the bite of 87. So it's assumed.
Was that the bite of 87?
God, I knew that was coming. And then there's Jeremy that they talk about in Help Wanted, who ends up like cutting off his face with the paper slicer.
The guillotine paper cutter.
Dude. Like it's just there's so many minuscule details that you'd be like, oh, another Jeremy, sure, why not? But no, they're all significant in their own way. You know.
I mean, the bite of 87 was such a big thing for in the beginning of like the game.
Right.
Right? We all thought like that was going to be the main part of the lore. No, there was much more after the bite of 87. And like, you know, it's just crazy how the guy you play as in FNaF 2 is the guy who's literally involved in that.
What's crazy is some of the questions that we had in the early days of FNaF. Like we waited a long time for some answers. Golden Freddy was a question that we kept bringing up over and over and over and over again. And only recently do we actually have the full story of Freddy. And even then, there could still be some questions about him. Like, he was such an anomaly to the series.
Right.
And then you have the box, which, you know, I think Matt Pat did a really good job at, like, questioning what the box was. But something about it just isn't clicking, like, with the early versions of the box. I think he's completely right with FNAF 6 being the box. Like, that was dead on, I believe.
Oh, my God. And, like, the lore involved with the marionette.
Yeah.
Like, the lore involved with the marionettes also just...
Dude, that's so sad. Like, that whole mini-game in Pizzeria Simulator with the security puppet, that is just so sad to me. Because, like, she's just this little kid, and, like, all these other kids just locked her outside.
Right, and isn't this... If I remember correctly, the story for the marionette was that it was, you know, a girl's soul trapped in the marionette, but was trying to give life to the other kids who were murdered, right? So she was the one who put their souls into the original suit,
them
right?
in her arms.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's crazy how involved the marionette was. Like, despite the marionette just being a puppet in a box that you gotta wind up a thing for, a music box, it's just got some really deep lore in it, and it's crazy how everything matters in FNAF. I don't think I also finished what I was talking about with the whole Markiplier and the FNAF thing under every one of his videos.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll cut him off and we're going on like
right, it's okay. Basically, the whole premise is that Kyle and I definitely were like coming up with little theories that like, oh, since FNAF is being recognized in every single one of his videos, what if he's being an actor in one of like the FNAF movie that's supposedly was coming out recently?
Yeah, like, because at about the same time he said he was going to leave for filming, because he went to go leave to film the show of Edge of Sleep, which is coming out soon, hopefully. Oh, Brad has disappeared.
Brad died. He's dead. He's gone.
I'll be right back, boys.
All right.
Okay.
Well, then we're gonna postpone that part because Julian already knows.
Yeah, I already know.
But yeah. Anyway, with the whole just tragic stories of it, because it's like it's just these poor kids, you know,
right.
They're just kids.
And then like Candy, I think that was her name, right? The doll girl.
Baby.
Baby.
Circus
Sorry,
Baby.
I got confused between the
Yeah,
phantom
she like
baby.
ate the kid.
Right.
That's hold on.
Yeah,
I
like ate the kid.
I have to find the scream. Hold on. Circus baby.
Oh no.
Scream. Ugh.
And like the fact that baby was literally what, William Afton's daughter, right?
Yeah, the girl that baby got was Afton's daughter.
Oh, the one that baby got. Okay, then who was the one controlling baby? The soul that was controlling baby.
Well, it was the daughter.
Oh, it baby killed the daughter, but then the daughter latched on to baby.
Right. So, right. So let's here. I'll stream for you guys. Let me.
Oh god.
Because
Yeah,
this scream just shatters my bones.
And then it's like
every
the premise.
time.
You mean
The premise is that William regrets. Oh yeah, actually you could play it real quick.
Hold on, let me go back to full screen here real quick. Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Ugh. I hate that. I hate it.
That's blood curdling right there.
Exactly. Like I got goosebumps and like I could feel myself just tensing up. I hate it so much. But like
my friend.
Fist.
Hold on, we talked about the memes and we didn't bring up Mr. Hippo. What is wrong with that?
You said the mediocre melodies. You kind of mentioned him.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the whole fact that baby had killed like William Afton's daughter led to the events of FNaF 4, right? Because William wanted to
Elizabeth, if you even remember that name.
Brad, stop!
Can you please end the podcast with that monologue?
I
Because
will.
everyone needs to hear it.
I will.
Everyone needs to hear that. But yeah, I mean, basically, the events of FNaF 4 was because of the daughter getting killed by baby, and so William wanted to protect his son, right?
Exactly.
And so he had made his own animatronics to do just that. Now, the question is, did the animatronics, were they ever going to kill? Would they have ever killed the son if you didn't like survive throughout the events of FNaF 4?
I think for story's sake, I think like the child would end up just avoiding the animatronics altogether. You know, I don't think they would have killed, like logically, I don't think they would have killed it because if he's trying to protect the kid, he wouldn't send things to actually kill him.
Right. Because the only reason that baby killed Elizabeth was that was just directly in her programming.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They were made to trap children, and Golden Freddy was not made to kill children, and those were the only animatronics that he would have interacted with unless he somehow found his way into the sister location.
Yeah.
The location of the location. But no, yeah, I get what you're saying, and like, yeah, like the original animatronics weren't programmed to take kids, and like the circumstance of Elizabeth being taken like was a complete accident. Because if you remember at the beginning of each night in sister location, you always hear her saying, "Why, Daddy? Why can't I go play with her?" You know, like,
God,
because he doesn't want her to get hurt, so he's like, "No, you're gonna stay away from her." But then one day he's not paying attention. Oh.
Yeah, the one time he doesn't pay attention. Death.
You know, I think it would have been really interesting if Crying Child became Funtime Freddy, because Ballora is based off the wife, right? And baby was the daughter, so you could have had the entire Afton family be the twisted ones.
See, the thing with that is, with the whole Ballora thing, that was never confirmed.
Oh no, never confirmed. That's the only theory that we have for Ballora, because Ballora doesn't really play a vital role in the series.
Ballora's just there.
I mean, she didn't. Oh no, did she make the cut for Ultimate Custom Night?
Yeah, she was in Ultimate Custom Night.
Ballerina one, right? If my mind isn't like being stupid, that was the ballerina one.
Yeah,
okay.
She wasn't.
There's something she wasn't included in.
She wasn't in Help Wanted, I don't think.
Oh, that's what it is.
Because I remember I've seen gameplay of this. I never got to it myself, but there was the part where you have the flash beacon and you're in Funtime Foxy's hall.
That's Funtime Foxy, and
in
then
the
Baby is in the
weird mode.
4-1, yeah.
Yeah, like in the weird mode, there's like all the other Funtime animatronics in there except for Bahura. So
where's Funtime Freddy and
I know that one because I was stuck on that one. That's why I stopped recording the series because he was also in the FNaF 4 room. My chair went down. That scared me.
Well, guys.
He was in the FNaF 4 room. He was in the Night Terrors mode, and he was the first one. So it was Funtime Freddy. Then there was Night Marionette. Then there was Circus Baby, where you're hiding in the closet and she's wandering the room, and you have to like close the closet when she.
Wait, he's a nightmare mode. Oh, it's like you're. Is it the one where you're actually playing FNaF 4?
You're playing FNaF 4, but it's just Funtime Freddy and the hand puppets.
Yeah. Okay.
The heck was up with FNaF World, though? Oh my lord.
FNaF World was.
I wish it was still up to get. I want to play it so bad.
When you inject it into the lore after Sister Location, it's like a vital piece of information.
Isn't there that one cutscene of Henry in FNaF World? Isn't that
getting killed by Baby? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
is
like,
that how?
It's very important to the story.
Wait.
But it came right after FNaF 4, and it was so wild and off the wall.
Wait. So
People just dismissed it completely. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Henry getting killed by Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Henry left the tape for the fire during Pizzeria Simulator where Baby was. Does that mean Baby survived and killed Henry?
No. Well, Baby does survive the fire.
That's true.
So,
But Scott pretty much cut FNaF World out of the lore, so it's not.
Oh, that's true.
But
But
it's not.
But if he didn't do that, then that. What the heck was that?
My fucking capture card fell off of my. I have like everything stacked on top of my
Oh
Xbox.
my god!
Capture card fell. That scared the shit out of me.
okay, but like, yeah, it's like Scott Cawthon pretty much cut out like FNaF World, like how all the Star Wars fans are cutting out the trilogy. Like, nope, trilogy doesn't exist. It's like
Topic for another.
That's another
Topic for another
podcast.
day.
That's another podcast.
Prequels versus sequels will be the next episode.
But anyway, we've spent over an hour on the first topic. We have 2 left that we should.
We kind of transitioned. I was trying to get us to transition into like, what it meant for us and like the impact.
Yeah, we kind of went over topic 2 a little bit. But what is your guys' favorite moments in the game?
Oh god. I know the speech, that one monologue from Henry. Oh,
Yeah,
that's really good.
Gotcha.
And then it's just like, I know all the phone guy moments, they were interesting. And like, I know in the first game, it's just like, he's your only guide. Like, when we were all new to the game, he was your only guide, or like only person to talk to in this horror game. So you were like looking for him to, rely on, I guess. Because, when you're in a horror game, you want whoever's going to help you the most, whoever's going to kind of keep you the safest. And it's like phone guy. We all thought that was kind of the thing you could rely on. And then he dies, like he supposedly dies in like what, the 4th or 5th night?
Yeah, like the 4th night. He's like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be here tomorrow.
Because the 5th night, it's just like the roll.
And then
Yeah. Why was that so good? Why was that so perfect?
Was it good? I don't know.
Yeah,
Good.
like
Oh my god.
like your microphone ear rape.
Yeah, your microphone cut it really weird. So it was
All right.
like,
Well, that's because I'm the man behind the slaughter.
Kyle Golden Freddy confirmed.
Was that the bite of 87?
Is that why Kyle's purple right now with his lighting?
But it's white. But it's white.
Oh no.
Also,
Anyway,
don't mind the Clorox wipes. Anyway.
Oh god. Oh no.
I wiped off my keyboard today.
We got the lotion and the tissues. Nope. It's just.
No, that's over there.
Oh.
Anyway, you were saying, Julian?
Wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it's just basically it's just crazy like how you got to interact with the phone guy throughout all of the games. I think not all. It wasn't all of them, right? It was only a. It was most of them though.
It
right?
went from the first 3 games having
Oh, the
a
fourth
phone
never had a
guy.
phone.
The third game had the dude that you worked for playing tapes from the phone guy from the first 2 games. FNAF 4.
Like, oh yeah, dude.
He's like, yeah, man, I found it. Dude, we found one.
Yeah, we found one. It's a real one.
A real one. But there was him.
Found some old training tapes.
Yeah, so he played the tapes for that, and then FNAF 4 didn't have anything, and then they went from that to the automated voice guy in Sister Location.
Exotic Butters.
Yeah.
Which he kind of became a staple throughout the rest of the series.
Exactly.
Because it was the same voice in every single game.
Yeah.
Like Pizzeria Simulator, when you're trying to test the different animatronics and whatnot, he's like a controlled shock,
Yeah, then there's Henry in Pizzeria Simulator, but there's also during like the opening and closing cutscenes where it's like, congratulations, you work for the Freddy Fazbear franchise.
Freddy, you are trying to trick Freddy.
Looks like my tape got stuck. Rewind.
Welcome to the Freddy Fazbear's franchise.
Was that voice announcer in Ultimate Custom Night at all? I don't think he was. But I know he was in Help Wanted.
He was in Help Wanted.
In the roller coaster. Or he was just the voiceover.
I don't think he was in Ultimate Custom. The only voices that you heard from Ultimate Custom Night were from the animatronics or from Candy Cadet. Because you would hear him.
Hey.
Every now and then he'd be like,
Candy Cadet's a crazy, another piece of lore. Ugh.
It's insane. All right, Brad, what about you? Your favorite?
Well,
ones?
obviously we have to bring up the old or the Pizzeria Simulator ending once again because I don't think we've brought it up enough because it is amazing. Honestly, I really like the Pizzeria Simulator cut security puppet ending because it was like you didn't really know where it was going with the security puppet minigame. And then when you see the girl locked outside and then the puppet, or when you see Elizabeth,
Charlotte.
Charlie is, Charlotte.
It's the same.
When you see Charlotte, Charlie is the original book series girl.
Right.
Yeah, but when you see Charlotte locked outside and then the puppet comes out, you're like, okay, because then the music cuts completely when this one's taking place. So you're like, okay, something's gonna happen here, and then you go outside, and you see that it's raining, and then you slowly see the puppet breaking down, and you're like, oh, and like you put the pieces together, realizing this is the retelling of FNAF 2, because if you remember, every time you died in FNAF 2. You had the chance of getting these little mini games, and one of the mini games was the I don't remember the name of the mini game itself.
Give Cake.
It was Give Cake, yeah. I was thinking Give Gives Give Life, but it was the Give Cake mini game, and it basically was Freddy with a cupcake going around to like help screaming children, and then in the background or outside you see one crying child. A purple car pulls up, and the purple guy kills the kid that's outside, and then you get the puppet mini game, or you get the puppet jump scare.
That parallel is so amazing. I'm so glad you brought that up.
So those FNAF 2 mini games was really the start of the theories. That's where you started getting the connected pieces, like, okay, this child belongs to this animatronic, and so on and so forth.
So the lore just got,
And it was such a cool callback to have. And the scene itself was so emotional, just like the puppet just like doing whatever it can to like achieve what it was programmed to do. Seeing Charlotte already dead, not being able to do anything about it except just protect her, and then ultimately fusing with her. And also the and connecting the Midnight Motorist to William Afton leaving the scene of the crime afterwards. Just that was just a really,
because it's raining in that mini game, right?
Yeah, and in the source files, the Midnight Motorist minigame is referred to as Later That Night. So, yeah. Or no, not the Midnight Motors game, but like when you take the shortcut, that part is known as later that night.
Yeah.
But it was just a really cool callback to such an infamous moment, and it didn't give us any more answers about the puppet, but it was just like seeing, like, it was a remaster pretty much, and it was just a really cool moment to relive because it just jogged back so many memories of FNAF.
Crossover episode.
and just as a further bit of evidence that it's the same scenario that's happening in FNAF 2 that's happening in that mini game there. If like they Game Theory showed that if you brighten the image of like that final scene where like she's laying dead on the ground and you're like crawling towards her to like
the tire mark.
There's the tire marks on the ground, which is like, you know, the car pulled away. You know, it's just that's such a cool parallel. I'm so happy you brought that up because that's like my favorite thing too. That, and honestly, I really love in the FNAF. I love FNAF 3. A lot of people think FNAF 3 sucked. I think FNAF 3 was really great, and I think it's just because of all the tie-ins with the lore.
Yeah, I will say from a lore perspective, FNAF 3 was great. From a gameplay perspective, it was the easiest FNAF, and no one liked it.
It was so easy, and I think the Help Wanted version was so much better.
I think the reason why FNAF 3 might have been easy is just because it was to give maybe players a better chance to understand the lore a bit better.
That is true.
You want to know my hot take on why FNAF 3 was so easy? It was because you had to do so many stupid things to try to get the good ending, like dial into a freaking panel in the wall. And you had to spend so much time trying to figure out how to do this. And honestly, Kyle, the Help Wanted version of FNAF 3 was a lot easier because you could avoid the jump scares.
Yeah, you could just be like, nope.
That was the only way you could die in FNAF 3 was because of the jump scares and having to reset your systems. But like in Help Wanted, you could just avoid them completely, so it's way easier.
I almost just smacked the power button on my computer.
Oh.
That's the end of this podcast. All right, bye.
We're just like suddenly, it's just like FNAF Help Want, and then it just cuts out.
Plants vs Zombies, Garden Warfare.
But yeah, like I love FNAF 3, and like I think the biggest thing about the lore in FNAF 3 that I love so much is the use of music boxes in the different minigames. Like, they're so storytelling, you know, like they're just music boxes, but like it helps just get you in that like, oh, there's something happening here. And
like,
the best
you go on.
The best one by far is when you're playing as what's now seen as Glitch Trap, not Shadow Bonnie, but Glitch Trap, floating through the different mini games. Yeah. That music box that plays, it's so somber and just sad. I love it.
Tells the story.
Exactly.
And it's like Bonnie's Lullaby, I think, right?
Yeah, Bonnie's Lullaby.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just one of those things that are just so sad, and it really tells a story like through music.
FNAF 3, I thought you were just gonna bring up the happiest day, because that was a nice touching moment.
Yeah, and like I liked how in the bad ending and the good ending there was like the difference of the lights in the eyes, showing that the souls were still there, versus if you got the happiest day mini game, then the lights are off, the souls are set free. Because that was.
Go ahead. I'll let you.
That was technically supposed to be the last one, but then it wasn't. And then the next one was supposed to be the last one, and then it wasn't.
See, I like how it's like security breach. It's like, oh, maybe this is the last one, and then it turns out to not be.
And then it wasn't.
Despite Scott Cawthon, the whole thing with him.
I always come back.
Have you guys watched the latest Game Theory episode?
Yeah, where he was talking about the endings of FNAF 3.
Yeah, with the lights.
Yeah.
Golden Freddy was the only one with 2 lights.
Yeah.
It was like, did he seriously figure this out all the way back in FNAF 3? Like, oh my god.
Okay, but can we go on to say how much, like, I know FNAF has, like, really impacted our lives, but, like, for me at least, it's really impacted my life, because FNAF 4, you know how at the start of every game you would hear the grandfather clock? Now
Yeah.
I can't ever hear a
Yeah,
grandfather
at my
clock
house. We
Right, every time I'm like, I get freaking PTSD every time like your grandfather clock goes off, because it's just like, oh God, because you can't go into FNaF 4 without hearing it, so it's just, oh my God.
Oh, never mind. I was like the grandfather clock, but when you complete a night, it's the alarm clock. But
No,
I
it's
forget
whenever
the
you
second.
start whenever you start the 12 a.m.
and then it
like-
goes off every hour or whatever, and you hear it in the
Mhm,
background.
mhm.
Right.
Yeah, that's a small little detail I forgot about.
All right. So now we get to the topic of Scott himself.
No, wait, no, we talked about the fan games. Never mind. We
Yeah,
talked about the
we've-
fan games.
Which we can also we can still talk a little bit more about it because we can talk about Scott's impact in this part. But
He's
I'll let-
inspired like so many people to
well, hold
do-
on. Let's let Kyle. Let's like.
No, I mean, like,
he's
he's saying everything that I was about to say. Like, you know,
Oh, okay.
Scott made something completely different, and he made something that I think really brought a lot of people together. Because like, you don't expect all of the random people that enjoy FNAF. You don't expect them all to just come together, because like there's a lot of people who are a lot more nerdy, there are a lot of people who are not so nerdy, but like they all enjoy this one thing, and so it brings everyone together, you know, like the gang's all here.
Right.
You know, so like it's really cool to see that he's created this world that he's let us all be a part of. You know, he's taken things that people have like theorized, and he's like, maybe, you know, you never know. He takes the input of fans and of peers, and he takes the input and he puts it to use in his games, you know. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of controversy with Scott lately. For anyone who doesn't know, Scott has recently announced that he is going to be retiring, and this is mainly speculated to be because of a lot of political backlash. I have up here on the Game Informer website here. Let me stream to you guys so you can see it as well.
You know,
I want to actually see if he's still.
his quote unquote canceling had pretty much
What's his website again? It's not Scott World.
it's
Scott Games.
Scott Games. But Scott, you know, apparently
Did he take down the site?
Wait, no way.
No.
the site's just black. Oh no.
FNAFworld.com. He took him down. Oh my god, he took him down.
No way.
Because
Oh.
FNAF World's gone too. Oh man.
Oh, that's crazy.
I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
think
like-
he'd take down his site because he had his letter on there. Hold on.
I'm sure there's screenshots of it somewhere.
God.
But-
But that's just sad still.
So
No,
basically,
letter.
what happened with Scott, as far as we've come to believe, or that we've come to know, is that a list of Cawthon's donations in recent years made its rounds not long ago. Some of the campaigns he supported included Devin Nunes, Ben Carson, Tulsi Gabbard, and former President of the United States, Donald Trump. He basically, he didn't mention that these donations were connected to his retirement, but he has gotten a lot of people complaining about it, and in his most recent Reddit post titled "My Response and Maybe Last Post," it contains his response point strongly and at recent backlash, and then he says that that's pretty much the reason of his departure from the series. So and a lot of people were saying that the people that he supported, he was getting backlash from it because they didn't necessarily support the LGBT community, and this is what Scott had to say about that. So I'm just going to read that from here real quick. Even if there were candidates who had better things to say about the LGBT community directly and bigger promises to make, I believed that their stances on other issues would have ended up doing much greater harm to those communities than good. And this is what he wrote on Reddit after listing candidates he had supported and why. Further in, Scott says, I have always been supportive of creators and have tried to treat everyone fairly and treat everyone with dignity and respect. I've never cared about anyone's race, religion, gender, or orientation. I just treat people as people, everyone the same, and because of that, I've ended up with a very diverse group of people that I've worked with over the years. So Scott donated to these certain people who, you know, and he had the mindset of these people, while they may not as much be, you know, supportive of the LGBT community, support a lot of things that I do support. Whereas the people who do support the LGBT community don't support a lot of things that I support. So it's like, go with one, you know, go with many things that don't really go with one thing, or go with one thing that don't have many things that I support, you know?
Yeah.
So I honestly, I personally don't blame him for that. I personally do not blame him for taking the majority of things that he supports rather than just going for the one thing that people want him to support. You know?
It's like, sure, he's, you know, he donated and supported people who, you know, could say better things about the LGBT community, but, you know, it's just,
I would keep it up, Kyle, because there's more to say about that.
himself was not the racist or homophobic or transphobic. You know, he was saying he sees people as people, and it's sad to see that he ended up being a target because of other people's mistakes and problems. And, you know, it's kind of sad to see that rather than the people who don't support the LGBT community got canceled, or to see that they didn't get canceled, but to see Scott get canceled despite him never really having done anything wrong.
Yeah, and like as he further mentions here, you actually had a good point of me having it keeping it up, Brad. Cawthon might have even foreshadowed his retirement post from Wednesday night, which I guess was before this. It says, "If I get canceled, then I get canceled. I don't do this for the money anymore. I do it because I enjoy it. If people think I'm doing more harm than good now, maybe it's better that I get canceled and retire. I would accept that. I've had a fulfilling career." And the fact that he's such a good sport about it, you know?
Right.
Like, you see a lot of people, either they get canceled and they're just, like, profusely apologizing for something, even if they didn't do anything wrong.
They start off their, like, YouTube video or something.
They're just like, I'm so sorry. Like, you're sorry for what? Having an opinion?
Right.
Like,
And there's some people who genuinely, like, are, like, bad people. Like,
yeah.
what's the one dude who got canceled for doing things with, like, cats and other kids or something? It was
I don't know.
Shane Dawson, I think. He was into, like, bestiality and was also just, like, I think he was also a pedophile. I don't remember exactly why he got canceled.
Or like EDP.
Or EDP, you know, they get canceled because they're genuinely, like, crappy people who don't deserve.
Yeah, they just
like,
they make bad decisions and they don't deserve the attention they're getting. So
and then
you know,
they get all sappy and sorry once they've been caught and, you know, made known that they're wrong, you know.
But like with Cawthon, he's such a good sport about it because he's like, you know what? If I get canceled, I'm happy with my work. I am, you know, he's not just conceding his entire ideology. You know, he's still kind of like, all right, well, you know, if I get canceled, oh well. But, you know, he doesn't say that he regrets doing it. You know, so
Yeah, and it's
I
like,
commend
you
him
know,
for that.
he's made his mark basically. You know, he's felt accomplished with what he's been able to inspire in other people, with what he was able to accomplish in such a short amount of time. I mean, man's literally made, like, award-winning games pretty much in a matter of, like, months, especially in the beginning 4 games, how they were made in less than a span of a year, and yet they were the things that really just, like, kicked off in popularity.
Yeah. What about you, Brad? What do you think?
It's just a tough situation because, you know, cancel culture as an idea is something I'm fine with, because as you guys said, like, there's some genuinely terrible people out there that have, you know, amassed followings of a lot of people, and like, if they are people that are doing terrible things, then I hope that they, you know, they lose everything that they've gained because they don't deserve to have it. But Scott wasn't one of those people. he was a man who did a lot of good, and he was a guy who was just pure of heart, doing something that he loved and trying to support his family.
Yeah, he's a family man. He's a very, a very kind-hearted man. I mean, the amount of times he's like donated to charities and supported people in need. It's, and like, even though people give him a lot of backlash because he was a mainstream Christian too. Like, I'm not saying that you have to be a man of faith to be a good man, but like, he was a man of faith, so he had good morals in mind. Is
And I know it's like a lot of religious people, like Christians especially, get a bad rep because there's quite a few like diehard Christians who have been known to, hate LGBT people or like even be racist sometimes. And that's honestly I feel like with most religions, like somehow in their sacred texts, it's mentioned like oh, Ian, can you just God, my brother doesn't know when to knock, doesn't know when to
door swing open.
Somebody wants.
But basically, yeah, it's just like some way people make their sacred books and texts, they interpret it to where it's like hate certain people because they're different.
And we're not trying to badmouth any religions or anything like that. We're not trying to say that, if you're religious, then you're just hateful.
No, it's like there's some genuinely good Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus. Hindus.
I know like three religions. That's it.
I took world religions. I should know this, but I think
it's there's some genuinely good. There's a lot of good people still who follow religion very closely. Like, I know I myself have never been religious, but I've met like a huge amount of people. And like, it's funny, I find that most of the time a lot of the hateful religious people are the older ones, the ones who can't let go of their old ways, like boomers with the whole segregation and whatnot.
And it's those ones that make a bad rep, that like everyone's basing that entire group of people off of the ones who are looking bad. It's kind of like a bad egg. Yes, a bad egg.
A baguette.
A baguette ruins the bunch. No, but like a bad egg ruins the bunch.
Like how with some, like, there's a lot of girls out there who are always like, all men are bad, all men are pigs, because of like a couple cases of rape they've heard or even had experience to their friends or family. But like not all guys are like that. Same with like Trump supporters. Sure, I'll say it. I know a lot of Trump supporters get backlash because they're supporting someone who they don't support. And I know one time there was a group of Trump supporters who were like saying they were going to like kill people and like lynch people who were LGBT because Trump didn't win. And that's just such a small percentage of them.
Yeah, exactly. They're not the people who represent the group itself. It's that small, like, 2% of the group.
Extremists, like people who take things too far when they shouldn't have.
And this isn't just on one side. It's everywhere. But anyway, Brad, we interrupted. I ended up interrupting you in your.
Oh no, it's good points that were brought up. And I can even like build on top of that. Like, I think this is one of those situations where I think that, it was taking the fear of there being a potential danger to someone's way of life, that it was an instinctual reaction. Because like genuinely at the end of the day, as much as it sucks to see this happen, and as much as Scott, I really don't believe deserves this, I really can't help but not put any blame on anyone, if that makes sense. Yeah. I don't really blame people for wanting to, for a lack of a better word, cancel this man because he potentially, like, he supported a group of candidates that didn't agree with their way of life and their lifestyle. You know, like, I couldn't imagine what I would think if there was somebody who just completely was after my way of life and the way that I live mine.
Destroy your gamer pad.
Yeah. Like, I haven't even brought a girl here yet. Like,
God,
what am I gonna do?
There it is. There it is.
I get friend zoned so frequently, but that's okay.
But it's just,
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Brad. You know, like, as much as it sucks that Scott's being canceled, you know, but like, you can't make everyone happy. It's impossible to make everyone happy. But, you know, Scott, you know, as an American, has every right to think what he wants to think, believe what he wants to believe. You know, like, he has every right to have whatever feelings he has. You know, and that all of us as Americans do. All of us as humans should have the right to think whatever we want to think and believe whatever we want to believe.
as long as you're not hateful about
If
it.
you're not, yeah, like if it all depends on how you act on it, you know. Because like if you think that Brad should die, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Brad. Julian, if you think Brad should die,
I'm jealous of his gamer pad or something.
It's perfectly, it's perfectly acceptable for you to think that because you're your own person. You can think whatever you want, but how you act on it. If you kill him, you know,
you deserve either the death penalty.
I mean, if he deserved it, maybe.
This is a whole other can of worms.
That's fair. And like killing someone is completely different than just canceling someone.
Obviously, yeah. I know, but it's like if Scott has his beliefs and he believes that with the people that he donated to, he didn't donate people, he donated to people. Let me just be very clear about that. Yes, he took all of his fan base and just spread it out among politicians.
Among us.
God. Yep, we're gonna call the podcast right there.
I get what
it.
Like,
yeah,
I think I can get what you're trying to say. Like he donated to people who supported a lot of things he supported, so it would have been more beneficial for him to donate to those people, even though they might not believe in it. Like they're very kind of hateful towards LGBT people,
and it might not even be that they're hateful towards them. It's just maybe they have opposing positions to them. You know, it's not that they're necessarily like, abolish all of them, you know, like...
I think just the best point to make about it is, like, there will never be a perfect candidate, I think, in anyone's eyes. Like,
exactly.
I won't say any political, like, I won't say any politicians that I support personally, but, like, no matter who I support, like, and who is in, like, the field today, there is no one who, like, 100% fits the bill of, like, what I support. You know, there was never going to be a perfect candidate. And Scott decided that, you know, despite the fact that I personally think that, you know, everyone who, no matter their race, no matter their gender, no matter their sexual orientation, anything like that, that they are as equal to me and everyone else out there. Everyone is equal in their own sense. Despite that the candidates that he wanted to support weren't fully supportive of that, it was a situation where it was there was a larger sum of things that these candidates did support. So at the end of the day, he just decided to pick the lesser of two evils. You know, it's like, why would I just pick this one thing where I could have
like lower gas prices? I support that.
Gas prices have been going down though. It's like down to $2.90 now. I'm super excited.
Not where we are. It's still $3.15.
Really? It's like down to $2.90 where I'm at.
There's a Shell right next to our work where it's $3.15, and I'm like,
oh man, the gas station right by my work, it's like $2.97, and I'm just like, heck
okay,
yeah.
But can we just say how sad it is that $2.90 sounds good?
It's so great. Like,
when I went to Florida, gas was like $2.30.
What's crazy? I went to New Jersey last week.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you went.
Prices for gas are all over the place. Like, we found gas stations that were $2.30, but we also found some that were $3.40. Like it was such a weird range. Like I don't know
Holy
why that
crap.
happened. I don't know why that was the case.
And I know, like
this is a
some
whole other
factors-
tangent, but
other
like,
factors play into that, like your way of life, like the standard of living. Like jobs pay more in some areas than others,
Yeah,
and like
that's
minimum
fair, yeah.
wage is different in other places.
But it was just like city to city, you know, like
It
it
was-
wasn't like
yeah.
any big distance. But regardless, it's Scott. Like I genuinely think he came from a good place when he was supporting these candidates, and just to see that, like when he didn't have any ill will, that some people reacted in such a what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah.
Food. I want food.
My mom's calling me for dinner right now, and I'm trying to like postpone it as much as possible. But basically, yeah, it's just I think I can interpret what Brad's trying to say. Actually, wait, hold on. My brain is.
I got you.
Yeah, you
All
do
right. So what Brad's basically saying is like, Scott saw, okay, neither group is perfect. Neither person that I'm able to contribute to is perfect. Given the imperfections, this one, in my eyes, has less imperfections than this one. You know? So it's
Or
like
not even, like less imperfections. They're doing more that Cawthon supports, right?
Yeah, like they're doing more good than evil. Not to put good and evil labels on things.
Right. Because I mean, I know like disliking or hating LGBT people is pretty bad, especially to a lot of people.
I thought
But
you were
it's-
including the first half of the word people in the... I was like, no, it's Q, not P.
But like, you know, it's just the fact that Scott Cawthon, he never supported the people he supported because they hated gay people or
Yeah.
the LGBT people. He supported them because of the other things they supported.
Exactly.
And it's just like, because let's say there was a candidate that supported LGBT people, but then everything else he supported or wanted to like make better or change for America was everything Scott Cawthon never supported either.
Like, yeah,
So-
like if, say, he supports the LGBT, but he's gonna raise the income tax in every state by like 50%.
It's
Like, why would you make that
I'll
sacrifice?
leave you guys alone
you know?
for 1 minute, and you guys are talking about income tax. What is wrong with you guys?
Well, we're
Well,
just
it's
talking about like examples of like, you know, like,
how he supported the different people, the two different groups that like either cancel culture would have preferred him to vote or the people he preferred to vote.
But
you know?
regardless, at the end of the day, like it happened,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's just sad to see that it got so bad to the point where he decided that he needed to step down. And it's just the worst fear that I have is what are his situations with his income with the series? Because if you saw in the post that Kyle was reading off of, it's going to continue in some way. He's going to find people that he trusts. I'm sure Steelwool is going to continue to be a tremendous help to the series when it comes to the video game department, and he has his authors that he has his like he has access to like continue on with the stories if he wants to. But how much, since he's stepped away, like if he's going to be able to earn as much to support his family, that's what I'm worried
Well,
about.
the fact that some people have even done like death threats to his family. Like his family is no longer safe anymore because of all that unraveled.
And no man who, I believe, I say it multiple times, but Scott was a good man, and I don't think a good man like that should have to worry about that.
exactly. Like,
And
go ahead.
just going even further beyond, like not only am I worried about Scott,
Going
I'm just
further
worried
beyond!
I'm worried about his child. I'm worried about FNaF. I'm worried about
Five
where it's going to
children.
go, because, you know, I don't doubt that it's just going to stop here, but like
Mhm.
it's
Where's
not
it gonna
under,
go?
yeah, it's not under Scott's direct supervision anymore. Like
it might not go.
what if Scott's not in a what if Scott's not in a position to where he can rip up the movie script anymore because it doesn't want to, it's not telling the story that he wants to tell? What if he's not in a position to where, you know, every like the lore is going the certain direction that he wants it to go in anymore? Like FNaF could, it's kind of like on thin ice right now. It's like we don't really know where it's gonna go, and that's something that really scares me, because it was something that for 7 years of my life was really important to me.
Yeah.
And I hate to see that something like this sense of stability that I had in my life is all of a sudden like
Kind of just
not so
poof.
stable anymore.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically the example of when the original person who had a certain dream for it just suddenly goes away or passes away, or and suddenly they leave it to someone else who didn't carry out that entire dream like Scott Cawthon had wanted. Like, for example, Ruby, I don't know if any of you have heard of Ruby, but the original creator, Monty Oum, had been creating the series for about 3 seasons, and it was going really well. I liked the series, and then he had passed away, and it's just, I don't know, I feel like the series has been going in a really weird turn. I don't think it's where Monty Oum would have liked it to be. And, like, it's just because, like, the story has just gotten so weird and so repetitive, and it's just, I feel like I'm worried FNaF could end up being like the same way. Like, they might end up having a lot of plot holes or inconsistencies in the
I mean,
lore.
Scott already had that, but
Those were like intentional inconsistencies slash
it was,
plot holes.
the overall story. I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I personally think I just want to reiterate kind of what I said earlier, where it's like he's an American. He shouldn't have to fear that his opinion is gonna get him fired, or he's gonna have to retire from his job, or like he's gonna get death threats from people like towards his family or something. Like
Right.
he lives in a place where that shouldn't be a thing, you know?
Like, now he's living in fear, I'm sure, because like his family's in danger, all because of one opinion, or just like not even an opinion, like he directly stated. He donated to some people. Some people found out, and then it just became such a
Yeah.
big deal.
And it's
He didn't
like,
even want it to be a big deal.
and the biggest thing with me is like it's his own personal money. It's not really any of your business what he does with it, you know? Like I mean
Here,
I understand that, like,
I'll be right back.
he's
Yeah,
You,
go-
you guys can keep talking
Go
amongst
ahead.
yourselves.
Go ahead, Kyle.
My mom's getting impatient with me not getting my food.
You're all good. But you know, I think that God, I don't remember what I was saying now. I got
Oh,
distracted.
you're talking about Scott using his own money.
Right. Like it's his own money that he's made of like his own legal way. Like he legally made the money. He's, you know, like he's allowed to use the money towards whatever he feels he wants to use it towards. And that's, you know, that's just part of the American dream. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, you know? Like his pursuit of happiness and his life and his liberty is in danger now because he has an opinion that just people don't agree with.
And it's just scary too, because I'm afraid of, like, you know, he could hand it off to someone who, like, when it comes to the story, like, he could still have creative supervision over that, like feeding directly into it, just being like, you know, like this is how I envision this story going. But like, I'm afraid it'll turn into like a Disney situation, for a lack of a better comparison.
Happy
Like,
ending.
no, like, you know, I'm pretty sure Walt Disney, like, I don't know a lot about Walt Disney, but I'm sure he created the Walt Disney Animation Studio to create animations to give people joy and to, like, unite people under a certain thing. And now it's become this global empire that's buying out everything that it can see, you know?
That's the perfect wording for that.
And I'm afraid that FNaF, like, you know, FNaF is, you can call Scott a sellout for all the merch that he has, like, is squeezing that. Well, there is a lot of FNaF merch out there, and it's like squeezing the essence, like every last dollar out of FNaF. But I'm afraid that that's like all FNaF is going to become. It's going to become this
money-making scheme.
It's going to become a machine that just mass produces money instead.
Pardon the pun with all the animatronics.
Instead of telling the story that Scott wanted to tell, because you see, when in that quote that Scott made, he doesn't do it for the money anymore.
Yeah,
he's made plenty of money off of this series. He just wants to tell the story that he wants to tell because he has a good time doing it. But someone who takes over this multi-million-dollar corporation, or this multi-million-dollar creative, what's the word? Creative property. They're going to. If he doesn't give it to the right people and it just continues to pass on, it's going to end up into someone who's going to want to liquidate this property. And that's something that truly terrifies me.
Yeah, I get you, man. I get you. Well, I guess I'm gonna close this part of the podcast by just reading this last bit of Cawthon's resignation letter, so to speak.
And kind of like wrapping up to like, yeah.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
He ends it where he says, "I only ask that my fan base respect my decision. I will still be around, just not in the capacity that I used to be. And what a blessed career I've had, what wonderful people I've met, and what a tremendous blessing to have been able to know all of you. Thank you so much." This whole situation is really sad. You know, to see Scott step down from the pedestal that we've put him up on, you know, he's going, and it's really, really sad. And like you said, like these last 7 years, you know, and as silly as it sounds for a game to be such an important part of your life, but like Five Nights at Freddy's has been a huge factor in a lot of people's lives.
It's more than just the games.
It's so much more than just the games. The community, you know, people have made friends or found soulmates through the community. You know, like people have gotten married. Like, oh, you like Five Nights at Freddy's? I like Five Nights at Freddy's, and they get, you know, they know each other better, and then
Right.
like there's
And, like, and then like people have like they've established their like indie gaming career making fan games because they were inspired to make those said games, and now there's like what, 5 people being funded by Scott Cawthon to make these games, these really nice games, like One Night at Flumpty's,
that's
Five
the
Nights at
first
Candy's.
example that you use.
Well, okay, Five Nights at Candy's,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I was just saying I thought it was funny.
the joy of creation, you know, all these different games that these people were given an opportunity to create because Scott Cawthon had allowed them to.
And, you know, pardon the pun, but it really is the joy of creation, you know? Like, Scott was just doing what he wanted to do. You know, he was just making a game. You know, all right, cool, I'll make a game. And it became something huge. And I really don't think a majority of games, or, like, the gaming community, I don't think would be where it is today if it didn't have that little nudge
Right.
from FNaF. Because a lot of people started getting more into the horror stuff with the rise of, like you said, Amnesia, there was Slender, there was FNaF, there was just all these horror games bring people into this new age of horror, you know? Like, it was, like, it was kind of that, like, guide, you know, like you know, like in mythology where like there's the guide to the underworld, you know. It's kind of like that.
Oh yes, the whole revolution in horror games is just to like dive down
Yep.
into darkness.
you're just going straight to hell, you know.
Right.
But like it's
So, you wound up in hell.
just
Phasmophobia is just because we're in hell right now.
God, but like it's such a shame to see the Cawthon era come to an end. And I think I speak for all 3 of us when I say thank you to Scott, first of all, just for everything that you've done, for the games that you've created, for the memories that you've been able to give us. You know, I remember getting yelled at by teachers in class because I'm sitting there watching YouTube videos of Markiplier playing FNaF, or, you know, like...
Right.
Trying to find a free version of FNaF to play unblocked on the school computers so I can play it myself. You know, like it...
I was home from school by my mom, and I was playing Five Nights at Freddy's in the back seat, trying to beat 420 mode because my little tiny brain was trying to do it. And
God, Brad, I saw that, Brad. I saw that. I made that joke earlier.
Yeah. I guess I'll just for like my little closing bit, I guess I'll just tell you guys how I got into FNaF actually. So Kyle, you'll probably remember this, but around 7th grade, I moved for the first time. It wasn't that far for anyone who lives in Arizona. I only moved from Avondale to Goodyear. It wasn't a big move, but it was a big enough of a move to where I needed to go to a different school. And the only person that I knew was my childhood friend since I was 5 years old. He's the oldest friend that I've ever had. Kyle, unfortunately, you're not. You're a close second, buddy. You're a close second.
Dang,
but
coming second.
You're always number one in my eyes. Anyways, but I lived very close to my friend, and he was like, "Hey, you're moving right next door to one of my buddies," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So the first thing he did, he introduced me to her, and funny enough, what she was watching was Markiplier play Five Nights at Freddy's. Because it was 2014, I was 12 years old, and I was like, I've heard of this Five Nights at Freddy's thing, and I watched Markiplier play it, and I was like, this looks really interesting.
And now you're married. No, I'm kidding.
No, anyways. But it all just kind of built from there, I ended up finding Game Theory. That's how I got into Markiplier, was because she showed me him. And it led me to Game Theory because I was just so interested in FNaF and like what the deeper meaning behind it was, because I noticed some things. Like I was like, Golden Freddy was a thing. What's up with him? There's just all these little details about it. And like from that on, like I got introduced to the FNaF community. And I think that more than anything, I think even more than Scott, in all honesty, was what really was the most consistent part, and what I appreciate the most about FNaF is the community that Scott was able to get from just this one game that he made on a whim, because he just was throwing an idea at the wall because he needed to make it a successful game.
Right, his career was failing, and it's just Five Nights at Freddy's was really that light that just helped him, find, I guess, peace in his career.
And because of that, so many amazing people were able to, share this love for this game and, create just this
Awesome
community for something that is very hard to replicate,
Like the honest community,
Right. It's like, it's not really a once in a lifetime thing, but, it's not something you see very often. And, I really just, like Kyle already said, but I really can't help but not only thank Scott for everything that he did, for creating such an amazing franchise, but thanking the community for just being so accepting and being so inquisitive and like working together to like try to solve some of these questions that, all these trails and these breadcrumbs that were left behind for us to collect. We come together and like unite over this. It's such an incredible thing to see. And like what other like, name any other gaming community that you can like equate this to. Like there's not much out there.
Yeah,
I think the closest thing I can say is maybe Minecraft.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The Call of Duty fandom, that's a place full of hell.
It's evolved several ways. None of them are good.
Right. I mean, back when even like Modern Warfare 2, people were like throwing racial slurs at each other, and then now it's just
that was just Xbox back in the early 2010s.
I was gonna say that wasn't just COD.
I mean, COD was a good platform for it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just the COD community has never seemed connected. They all seem at each other's throats because they all hate each other, it seems.
Yeah.
Because they all keep, they just rage, they rage at the game because people are better than others and whatnot. Or like the Fortnite community, freaking the people who can build a skyscraper in 5 seconds. No one.
But even then, like there was a whole entire game centered around the idea of who is the best at FNaF. And it wasn't man, screw you for beating my high score. It was support. It was like reaching milestones together as a community, like seeing Dawko and all these other YouTubers climb and get a high score than the last, and people getting so excited for it. Like you said, like the Minecraft community is amazing, don't get me wrong, but like there's so many different aspects that, and so many minute details about the series that we all unite over.
Right.
That's such a hard thing to replicate.
Especially
really
since the Minecraft community is also kind of just like also a weird like unstable place.
It's kind of half and half with the Minecraft community, because it's like half of it is really support. Like you look at Hermitcraft, and they're all super supportive of each other. They're like, these guys are great people. They are, they're so supportive of each other. They help each other out whenever they can. They do stuff together, like, in life. Like, if you've seen Mumbo Jumbo and Green, they do stuff together all the time. They were doing, like, Minecraft Earth. Yes, Minecraft Earth. They were doing, like, Minecraft Earth stuff. They went on, like, a 3 or 4 day road trip just around England just to play Minecraft Earth together. So it's just there's that half, and then there's the other half where it's like, bro, your builds suck.
Right. Or like they're attacking the Mojang, like they're attacking Mojang because they released a half update. But like you look at Cyberpunk and they were getting rushed, like, and you saw what happened. They released an unfinished game that everyone hated. The creators of Cyberpunk got even more backlash because they released it early and it wasn't what everyone's expectations. They don't know how the whole game producing process is. It takes time. You've got to test all the bugs.
Patience is the number one key to anything art. Movies, games, like portraits, photography, anything.
And sure, there's some exceptions where they were just really bad. Like, there was a game that supposedly everyone was donating and buying pre-orders for, and it was like advertised as this really nice AAA-looking game with the best graphics, gameplay.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And then it turned out when it got released, it looks even worse than like old school RuneScape.
It sounds like No Man's Sky.
And
that's right. It was No Man's Sky.
No, there was another one. Let's see.
No Man's Sky is a great community, though. That's another great gaming community because they really like stuck with the game. Like they were even helping out the developers to make that game like way more polished.
Did Baby Yoda move?
Oh, I moved him.
Okay, because I was like,
I put him back in his original position.
He wasn't facing that way before, and I don't like that. But anyway, let's getting back onto the topic of FNaF, like you were saying, Brad.
I was gonna say something before I left with the Minecraft thing. I feel like another thing with Minecraft, like comparing Minecraft to FNaF, it's like, there's like a lot of subsections within the Minecraft community. You got like your casual players, you got like your your speedrunners, you got your like challenge run people, you got like your redstone people. You got like different like subcategories within the Minecraft community. You got like different categories within the Minecraft community, whereas the FNaF community kind of feels like one singular.
That's true. That is.
It's like, yeah,
true.
you got little Timmy who wants to play the new scary game that came out, but like for the most part, it's people that are interested in the lore, and no matter how they contribute to it, like they are like they're usually like hardcore fans of the series, because usually a lot of the casual fans kind of died out. So like it's a very special community that like for the most part we're all kind of a singular entity in a sense.
Sure, there might have been some people who decided to make some explicit art and whatnot.
We're not gonna go there.
We can definitely say we all enjoyed it.
We just
don't lie.
We push them out. We push them away.
No, don't lie, Julian. Don't lie. We enjoyed it. Sexy Foxy was great. No, I'm joking.
Freaking when people like drew Mangle as like the normal. Oh no, Toy Chica.
But yeah, it's FNaF has been honestly, it's been an inspiration for a lot of people too. Like, you were talking about art. So I've seen so much cool fan art of FNaF. Like there are so many things. Like there's like art of like Springtrap with like a bunch of like kids just at like a party table or whatever. They're all just kind of they're like dead or whatever, but it's like such good art.
Or like all the animations and whatnot. And like
not all the animations.
Okay, some animations. like Pymations, he made some pretty funny skits.
That was pretty good.
But I know, and there's like some songs that people made, like a lot of songs.
Dude, Living Tombstone, that's the whole reason I listen to Living Tombstone, is because of the FNaF music. But I think we should probably start bringing this podcast to a close. So I just once again want to say thank you so much to Scott Cawthon. Thank you to all of the FNaF fans out there for making the community what it is. And thank you to everyone who's watching this right now. We hope you all enjoyed this as much as we did making it. Once again, thank you, Brad. Thank you, Julian, for joining me today for this. Hopefully us in the Wombo Combo
Oh, I was trying to think of what.
I know, I was like, what?
I was just like, hold on.
I was like, what do we call ourselves?
Right.
Not even joking, you guys. We thought of it like 5 minutes before we started.
Legit like 5 minutes beforehand. We're like, you know what? That sounds good. Let's go with it.
And yeah, basically in summation, 0 out of 10, Five Nights at Freddy's sucks.
But anyways, thank you everyone.
Garbage game, never play again.
Yeah, don't check it out. It's not worth it.
Don't download.
Don't go buy the whole set of games.
Yeah, don't buy the original 4 games.
Don't buy any of them. They're all horrible.
Don't support Scott Cawthon in his time of need. Like don't even.
But thank you everyone. We love you all. Hope to see you all in the next podcast, which we have no idea what it'll be about.
And stick around for the ending because you all need to listen to this.
Yes, I'm gonna play something very special at the end of this. But thank you everyone so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
You played right into our hands. Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you? No. This was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch, listen, and be full.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.